How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us for this live stream here at Near Mint Condition. I am your host, the Uncanny Omar. To my right is one of my favorite people on this planet, Kurtis. Who are you? What do you do? Why are you here?
Well, I'm the host of the Epic Marvel podcast. You're one of my favorite people on this planet too, Omar. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thank you. You were just saying that because I said that. It's the only thing to say after someone says and greets you like that. Yeah, man. Where can people find you when you're not hanging out with me, and what do you talk about?
Well, I talk about classic Marvel comics stuff from generally speaking, the 60s to the 90s, and it's all at epicmarvelpodcast.com. I also talk a lot about Epic Collections, quite a bit, and that if you search for Epic Collections on Facebook, I think the link is actually facebook.com/groups/Epic Collections. And you can talk about Epic Collections with us. We will be talking a lot today in that Facebook group about what we are going to announce here today. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, yes. And sometimes you have after parties too, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I don't have time, unfortunately, to do that today, but perhaps next time we'll do. Next time we do announcements, I'll try and fit that in.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, how's everybody doing? Thank you all so much for joining us here today. This is one of my favorite streams to do because we talk about things that we love. We get to announce them. Whenever I do breaking news, I do breaking news like one at a time, two at a time for Omnis. This is a little bit different because we get like the whole month. And Marvel was kind enough to send us. So big thank you to David Gabriel and all the people at Marvel for providing us with this information. So what happened was I got October to January of 2024, which is insane to even think about. Like, we're talking about a year, but that's the way the distribution is working now. So what was completely filled out before things are moving around was October, November. So I thought, well, let's just go ahead and do that, and then I'll come back and do December and January with Kurtis at another time when that fills out more. Because I think we've got 4 in December and 4 in January, but there's still slots to be filled. So I can't wait to talk about those books because there's a couple surprises down there. So if you don't find something that you're into here, perhaps those months will have it. So we are going to be talking about new Epic collections, reprinted Epic collections, so new printings. Most of the ones I believe I always have to pull this list out in our top 20 most wanted. And then modern Marvel Epic collections. So those are all going to be here today. There is one question that I wanted to go back to, and I completely forgot to ask David about this, and I promised that I would. Where is it? Somebody asked about Silver Surfer, the status of Silver Surfer 6. Do you remember when we announced that and just kind of disappeared, right?
Yep, yeah, that's right.
Was it 2 years ago?
It was a number of years ago. It was one of those ones where we didn't have the contents. We only had, and we didn't have a title either. We only had a volume number, so that was all they gave us.
So it wasn't officially solicited then. It was just something that they gave us. Okay. So what I'll do is I thought it had a title too.
8.
Like, okay.
If it did, I don't remember what that is.
It
was Silver Surfer number 8.
And I'll double check because I thought we had a title too. I will ask. I'll send an email to David and see what ended up happening to that if it got moved somewhere else. Yes, haircut. Thank you. Yes, it is a haircut. I think it's a haircut. Got my ears trimmed back. Is that what it's called? Lowered. Whatever they're called.
Lowered, yeah.
My dude, that's what's up. I want a Kang Omnibus. I do too. Today is not the day that I get to announce that though. Will there be DC ones? No, this is all Marvel Epic collections. DC doesn't have an Epic format. They experimented with some Bronze Age books where the numbers were in the back, but that line, I don't think anything's been done for like the last 2 years. Maybe one day we'll have some kind of format like that, but this is all from Marvel Comics. There is one more announcement that we're going to make that snuck into September. They added it to September. And then another book was going to be in September, but then it got moved to December of 2023. Surfer 8 didn't have a title.
There you go. Phil knows.
I could have sworn that it did, and maybe I just forgot. Okay, I will triple check what happened. Hola, Omar, mi hermano. First time checking the Epic stream. I'm an omnibus collector, proud owner, plus 200. Look at you. So I'm getting my first Epic next week. X-Men Always Darkest Before the Dawn. Wait, wait. That is a good way to break it in, man. That's a wonderful collection. Had to watch. Awesome, man. Well, I hope there's things in here that you enjoy, because I've joked about Epic collections being placeholders for my omnibus collections, but they are a wonderful way of collecting these books. Sometimes the mapping is better, and there are a lot more.
Well,
there's just so many of them.
Yeah, and in this instance right here, like that material is skipped over completely in the X-Men omnibuses. It falls through the cracks, and I don't think you'll find it in omnibus. There's not enough content to make a big fat book.
Don't be calling out my omnis. Leave them alone. All right, let's say we get started. Hit that like button while you're here, please. That goes a long way for us. We really appreciate that and all the love and support that you all give us. Hold on just a second. Is there a first volume of X-Men that you can get as a box set? There was a box set release, but it was a hardcover box set. It wasn't Epic Collections. The first volume of X-Men is called, what is it? Children of the Atom. Is that correct, Kurtis? Mm-hmm. That's volume 1. And then the next reboot or the relaunch era is the giant size, all new. Is it all new, all different? Is that what it was called?
It was called Second Genesis.
Second Genesis. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Those are the two big ones that you would want to read, I think. You have to speak to him in X-Men Omnis. Yes, I'm fluent in X-Men Omnis and what's it called, Epic Collection. Well, how's it going, Aaron? This is a good friend of mine. I hope that he is feeling better today. Big. You gonna interrupt me like that, Jeff? You can't just say Big Barda and expect me not to get like all flustered. Okay. Do we have a Hawkeye Epic Collections? There is a volume 1 that came out a couple of years ago. No word of a volume 2. Maybe. All right. Let's get started, dude. What say you?
Okay, let's do it.
It took me 84 years to get through. Stop it.
It's pretty dense stuff.
So, September, let us know if you want it the full screen or if you want us on the side to get our shocking reaction.
Yeah, reaction shots. Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, just let us know how you prefer it. So
there's no small writing on this, so you should be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, September. So like you said, Marvel added 2 books to September, but then they bumped one to December. This is the remaining one that they're adding to September. It is the Loki Modern Era Epic Collection Volume 2. Everything Burns.
I am so happy to see this collected in Epic Collection. First of all, you see the volume number, right?
That's a big deal, because we weren't sure up until this point if Marvel was going to treat the Modern Era Epic Collections like the other ones and release things out of order. Apparently they are. This is Volume 2, which is Journey into Mystery, which is what Thor got retitled at issue number 622 or something like that. And so this is issue number 637 to 645. Exiles number 1, New Mutants, the 2009 series, number 42 and 43, and Mighty Thor, the 2011 series, 18 to 21, plus material from A+X, number 5.
So what's really interesting about this particular series is that this has been collected. By the way, if you're not familiar with this is Kieran Gillen's run of Journey into Mystery featuring Loki. So this is before Young Avengers, his run of Young Avengers. And this is a very, very good underrated series, especially that ending that I know I didn't see coming. And it kind of changes the way that you read the Young Avengers Loki, because he's Kid Loki during that time. It's also after the events of Siege. So something happens where Loki's come back and now he's a kid. The cover here is by Alan Davis, and it does feature the crossover there with Thor and the New Mutants crossover. It's a great book. Also been available in complete collections. I think there's been 2 of them. So I'm glad that they're pumping these out, that they're like, okay, we're not going to do complete collections anymore. Let's just rebrand them as modern epics. And I think that's wonderful. It's a good read if you've not read this. And it's got phenomenal artwork and a heartbreaking story.
So the volume 1 stuff will probably be the stuff you'd find in the Journey into Mystery Complete Collection volume 1.
Hmm.
That one it breaks right before this volume.
Which I want to say something. I think the reason we went with volume 2 instead of a volume 1 was because last year I think they just reprinted Journey into Mystery Complete Collection volume 1. So they're kind of, giving it a little bit of time before they do this again by rebranding it. So another reprint, I'm sure will come here in a year or maybe 2 years, and it will be now called Loki Modern Era. But it's really cool because this stuff is now being collected in modern epics, meaning they're not going to leave out anything. All those little mini series, like we've got an upcoming Loki Modern Omnibus that's coming out. All that stuff will be collected in epic format, and I think it's awesome.
I think it's great too. So the volume 1 will have some extra space because that trade is under 400 pages. So I'm wondering
the complete collection trade is
the Journey into Mystery Complete Collection volume 1 trade is just under 400 pages. So there's room for another mini series or so, or we could put in the Siege.
I was going to say
in there.
Siege is important to the character of Loki because they explain what happened, how he becomes a child at the beginning of this, but you want to read about where has Lars been assassinated? No, Lars joins us for the upcoming collected editions from Marvel, the solicitations. That's what he joins us for. He's not dead, unless Curtis knows something I don't.
My lips are sealed.
I am sorry. Yes, it is Exiled. We copy and pasted, by the way. It is Exiled. That was the one shot, not Exiled.
I didn't copy paste. I actually just typed it all out. That's my mistake. You're right. Exiled, number 1.
Wow, way to own that, Curtis. Look, that's a man of...
I didn't want to make people think that David Gabriel made a mistake.
I don't think David would type that. I think it would be his team, right? So he could have been like, oh, it was so-and-so then. So that one is on Curtis, everybody?
Yeah.
Curtis, everybody. Okay. I make mistakes all the time, just behind the camera. No, I never do it on screen. No.
There might be other mistakes here. I don't
know. Not me butchering people's names, creators' names left and right. So we did a video on the things that are coming out in September. So if you want to go back and watch that, you're more than welcome to. Just look through the playlist of I believe we have it comic previews, news, or something like that. Whatever my wife made. Now we're moving into October, where we have some new books, some reprints, and some modern epics.
Okay, we're going to try starting with the reprints here. These are both reprints that people have been asking for a lot, especially this one here. Daredevil, Volume 2, Mike Murdock Must Die. This has been out of print for a long time, and people are a lot of people have been asking for this. So glad to see that it is going to be coming back in October.
Is that one in our reprint poll?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, let me find. I always have to find the reprint poll. That I do this every time.
This is classic Jim Lee and Gene Colan. Jim Lee. Did I just say Jim Lee? Stan Lee.
Yeah. Jim Lee was
Stan Lee and
learning to walk.
Gene Colan. Because I was thinking Gene Colan.
I sent them the top 25, and this was number 24.
There you go. Yeah, they are working through that list, hey? I think all of the stuff here, all of the reprints that we're going to talk about today, I think might be on that list. It's a pretty good list. Okay. Yeah. And then the second reprint that we're going to talk about here is New Mutants Volume 2, The Demon Bear Saga. This one has already been reprinted, I think maybe twice. This might be the third time it's coming back.
This is
the fourth time it's coming back.
This is the third time.
This is the third time?
Oh, yeah, and my wonderful wife is reminding people to smash that like button. Thank you, baby. Thank you for that. Yeah, so this is the third time it's been printed. The cover there is by Bill Sienkiewicz, and this was number 21 on our Most Wanted reprints.
Yeah, this is a great story.
We put that poll up every February. If you're new to Epic Collections and you want to have a voice in this, next month I'll be putting up the poll. Or I think, actually, no, next month is Most Wanted Omnis, and then March is Most Wanted Epic Collections. And Curtis is a big part of that. Like, he helps me with that, put that together.
Yeah, we're going to want to get that. They've pretty much exhausted that top 25 list now. I think if you go through it, there's
still got a couple.
Just a few more left.
We got a couple.
I'm sure we'll see them.
But this collects the era of Bill Sienkiewicz walking in and saying, hold my beer, every other artist. I'm about to change everything. Which, oh my gosh, he did. Like the art, it was, and I like Bob McLeod. Don't get me wrong. You also had Sal Buscema doing some of the artwork, but my goodness, when Sienkiewicz stepped in, it was a whole new different ball game. And the story, I mean, Claremont obviously was like, oh, I'm going to change this up. I'm going to make this into a horror story because this guy can draw some really creepy stuff. And that's where the Demon Bear saga comes in. This also has the first appearance of Legion in here. That's Professor X's son, who plays a big part in, of course, Age of Apocalypse, but most recently, Way of X, if you've been reading that.
But unrecognizable in this collection. You won't recognize
Legion?
him as Legion.
Oh, I mean, he's got like a weird nightgown thing. I can't remember. What does he wear? Like, it's like a pajama pants or something. They should only reprint books that Owen wants. That is true, Owen. We've tried, and they looked at your list, and right along with my Nth Man, they laughed. Omar, do you still plan on reviewing New Ghost in the Shell? Trying to decide between that and the box set. Yes. Thank you for reminding me. I forgot that came out already. I got to see where my order is. But yeah, those are the two. I think those are the two reprints for this month, right? Or do we have a third one?
This month we don't have a third one. Next one we're going to talk about is this one right here, Incredible Hulk Epic Collection Volume 8, The Curing of Dr. Banner.
Love it. Love it.
This is some very classic Len Wein and Sal Buscema stuff.
Yeah, they're going in chronological order, right? Because the last one we had was And Now the Wolverine, and here we are with Volume 8. Very cool.
So they've been starting the Hulk is published twice a year, and the stuff there's usually one early volume and one later volume, and so the early volumes have been pretty consistent in order this entire time, which is good. Some great covers. Both of those, the front and the back cover here, are absolutely fantastic. This is kind of a prime era for Hulk. If you like this classic Hulk stuff.
And that's an Ernie Chan cover there.
Nice. Yeah, Ernie Chan is fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, he was a phenomenal inker, but his own artwork was great too. Mm-hmm. But I'm glad they're going back and forth, right? Something modern and then going back to, which is something that they've done with the Epic lines before. What year are we in now? Did you say 70?
Oh, let me see here.
It's in the back of the book.
It is 1976 to 1978, I think it is. So yeah, we're getting almost through the 70s here. This one has Incredible Hulk 201. Whoops, sorry, there's a spoiler for the next one. Incredible Hulk
Curtis!
201 to 226 and Incredible Hulk Annual number 6.
2023. Oh my goodness. By the way, Ernie Chan is on the back cover. Thank you for this correction, Gary Esposito. It is
okay.
Dave Cockrum on the front. I knew that Chan did the back. I thought he did the front one too. Thank you for that.
Two great artists. Marvel Treasury edition number 17 is huge. A huge thick book there, so I'm glad to see that included in here too.
Yeah. Did I mention that it was 2022? Is that what everybody said, or did I say 2023? What's going on? Did I mess up something? Is it the thumbnail? Why are people saying?
I don't know.
No, you don't. Now it's my turn to mess up, Curtis. Nope, thumbnail looks good. Okay, everything's good. We're good. You predict. Curtis, you're the worst.
Oh, whoops! I pushed the wrong button.
Hawkeye is next. Who was asking about Hawkeye earlier?
Someone wanted Hawkeye Volume 2. The last volume came out at the beginning of 2021. We didn't get any Hawkeye in 2022, so now we have a Hawkeye in 2023. No, wait a minute. Yeah, 2023. November of 2023. So this is called The Way of the Arrow. It collects solo Avengers 1 to 20 and Avengers Spotlight number 21, which is the same series. They just renamed it. And notice they're not saying material from solo Avengers numbers 1 to 20.
Yep.
So we're going to get all of the backup stories as well, which feature all other Avengers characters. And I think that is just fantastic.
I love that this is being collected, man. Oh, what's up? Lima, Peru. Viva Peru, carajo. That's where I'm from. I was born there, man. Will this be the Hawkeye stories or also non-Hawkeye? It looks like it's going to be both.
I think it's both. The
And
the page count, 21 issues is about the size of an epic, so looks like they're not going to cut anything out. My only question here is that the last few issues of Avengers Spotlight don't even have Hawkeye in it. They're not Hawkeye stories at all. So will they skip those and we'll have orphaned Avengers Spotlight issues or not? I don't know.
I don't think, I mean, if they're collecting all of these, because these are stories that haven't been collected whole anywhere.
Well, yes, there was a solo Avengers Classic trade that had the first 10 issues in their entirety, and that will be redundant now. You won't need to have that trade anymore.
Makes me sad thinking of Jeremy Renner seeing this. Apparently, he may need to have his leg amputated.
Holy
I haven't
cow!
heard that. That's just
Wow.
hearsay at the moment, though. Yeah, man. Thoughts of that dude. He went through some horrible accident. Like, what a freak accident! The snow blowing accident. Guy's an Avenger. It's a good place to stick them as any other, right? Because they haven't been collected in whole anywhere. So I think it's a good place for it. Because I don't see them being collected in a no, they wouldn't be in Avengers West Coast and not that era of Avengers. I think this is about the only place where they can be put together.
It's good. I'm
Can
glad.
we whisper? I'm in a meeting. Put them on mute, man. Put them on mute. Let's what's the next one there?
Okay, so where did my cursor go? The next one here is Moon Knight Epic
Yes,
Collection
sir.
Volume 7, Death Watch. Collecting Mark Spector Moon Knight 39 to 51, Moon Knight Divided We Fall number 1, Moon Knight Special number 1, Web of Spider-Man number 93 to 94, and material from Marvel Comics Presents 152 to 154.
Dude, we are getting so like the next volume will have the Stephen Platt era, which is so weird because everybody calls it an era, but it's only like 5 issues, and I think he only did 4 because he did a cover for like 57. He didn't even do the internal artwork, but it makes me happy that this era is being collected. So we are we're moving past the omnibus. If you're getting the Mark Spector Moon Knight Omnibus Volume 1, this is stuff that's collected afterwards.
Which is why I think they've skipped over volume 6 or 5,
right.
5 and 6.
It's definitely a smart move, right? They did the same thing with that's how the whole Epic line started with Iron Man. We got the David Michelinie Omnibus, and then they were like, hey, we're going to release Iron Man. It's the stuff that happens right after the Omnibus. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is Carl Potts takes over the book, and then Terry Cavanagh, I think, ends up running it. That sounds bad. I was running it into the ground. Ending the title. Like he's the last few issues are definitely Terry Cavanagh, but I can't remember if he wrote starting with issue 39 or not.
So this volume is going to be the second to last volume for Mark Spector Moon Knight. There are 9 issues after that because I think the series ends with issue 60.
Yeah, he's all like spread out on the cover, like, oh, what happened to Moon Knight? And he's gone for a long time. So that makes me think, what else are going to be collected in there?
Well, I would assume that the round robin Spider-Man story will be there because it ties up the loose ends with Moon Knight's supporting cast.
Curtis, that happens earlier.
That happens earlier?
Yeah, that would be volume
6?
6, I think. Yeah, man.
Okay.
So I think
there are 2 Doug Mensch miniseries in the 90s, and they'll probably be in there.
We are in October, Gary.
Sorry, we're in October. Yeah, I think I said November for one of the maybe.
Oh, you did? Okay.
But no, I'm in October. We're making mistakes left and right here.
What's this wee stuff? You got a mouse in your pocket? What's that about? All I asked was what year this is. That's all I asked. What year is this? I was so confused. What would be the best suit to hide stains? Yes, Ragman is the perfect suit if you want to hide stains.
Definitely not Moon Knight.
No, Absolutely not. Do you think Moon Knight bleaches his suit? Stains would really. Oh, that's Nathan again. What is with stains, Nathan? Did you commit some kind of crime?
I think he's doing some laundry today.
Splat. Yeah, all 4 issues of Splat. Honestly, I can't wait because I remember when those issues came out and I had to have the glow in the dark cover. Kurtis made. Wow, somebody's keeping count. Somebody's keeping count. Wow.
I'll make some more before the day is out. That's for sure.
I got this one. October of which year, Omar? 2023, the year we're standing in right now. That's it. Oh, yes. I hope we get a Moon Knight Omnibus Volume 2, Mark Spector. That would be great. And then, like, modern stuff. So, yes, Volume 7 of Mark Spector Moon Knight. Sal Voluto, I think, is the cover artist on that one.
Oh, yeah. It's a nice cover. Okay, shall we go on to the next one?
We shall. How many more do we have in October?
Just one more, and this is a big one. I think a lot of people are going to be happy about that. It is not Amazing Spider-Man number 16. It is Ghost Rider Volume 6, Vengeance Reborn.
Y'all have no idea how long I've been wanting to talk about this for every person that's like, oh, David Gabriel and Marvel Bush hate Ghost Rider Danny Ketch or Howard Mackie. And I'm like, I guess so. Because, I mean, people are anticipating an omnibus, but this is a start to me. This is how things began. You got when I messaged Kurtis yesterday and I'm like, hey, let's put this together. I was like, here's the list. By the way, there's a book in here that, what did I say? I said something along, you guys got the one up on the omnibus, people, because you guys got modern Ghost Rider, my Ghost Rider, in epic format before we got it in omnibus format. So you all win this round. Finally coming out, I believe this has more than the classics. This is actually, I think, the first two classics put together. So Ghost Rider.
No,
go ahead.
It's Curtis. Not quite. The first volume of the Ghost Rider Classic is just the first 10 issues, and then the second one is the second 10 or whatever. So this one has more too, because this one has Mark Spector and Doctor Strange and some Marvel Comics Presents.
Mm-hmm. So now I know when I get asked on the Saturday Q&A, which by the way is at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, if you want to join us for that every Saturday. It's like your Saturday morning cartoons, except you get to ask me questions and I act a fool. Now I actually have an answer and I can talk about it. Hey, if you're looking for Ghost Rider, this comes out in October. October, perfect month. So yes, this is the Danny Ketch era for the people that have heard me go on about how great Danny Ketch is. But it also features Johnny Blaze, an old guy that's hunting Zarathos with the, I almost called it the Hellblazer, but the Hellfire shotgun, which shoots Hellfire out of the shotgun. It was the 90s, and it was cool. Look at that bike, man. It's freaking awesome.
This cover is so incredible. It's just
oh gosh, dude, let me tell you something, Travis. 20 years ago to me will always be 1980, okay? So yes, Ghost Rider Danny Ketch is still modern Ghost Rider to me. I don't care about Robbie Reyes. Sorry to the people that do. I think he's wonderful, sure, whatever. But modern Ghost Rider to me will always be Danny Ketch, even 20 years from now, because 20 years ago was 1980. Remember that. Near mint condition. Facts.
Oh yeah, the only downside to this is now it's going to take a while to get a follow up to the Johnny Blaze volume, but I think we can deal with that.
Mm-hmm. Omar realizing his favorite comics are crap is my favorite genre. What? They're not? That's wonderful stuff. It's a lot of fun. I like this. I like this era. Modern age Ghost Riders, Danny Ketch, the new guys. That's right. The new guys, the new Ghost Rider. That's how we're keeping it. I like that. I like that. That makes me modern as well. I'm the modern Uncanny Omar, unless some 20-year-old is out there. Okay. So that is all of October, and just a reminder to smash that like button, please. Let's move on to November, and then we'll come back and talk about these books one by one. So November 2023, I always like to stress that, dates could change, though. So just keep that in mind. Maybe some things might slide into the next month, but these are the dates we were given as of now.
A couple of reprints for you. Avengers West Coast Epic Collection Volume 2, Lost in Space Time.
Mm-hmm.
This is one that went out pretty quick. It's been out for a while, and people have been asking for it a bunch, so happy to see that it is coming back as well. Moon Knight on the front cover.
Let me see where it was. Avengers. You said this was the West Coast.
Avengers West Coast.
This was number 13 in our most wanted reprint. So you all made this happen. You all that voted for this made that happen. And it's crazy to think about how much of a voice you have in this. Like, I wish
it's fantastic.
I could vote for toys that are out of print or video games that I missed on. But yeah, I'm very excited for everybody that missed out on this. This is the stuff that's been collected in omnibus format, but now it's coming, or it's been out in Epic Collection, and now it's coming back to print. So hey, more Moon Knight. This is when he joins. Yeah.
Okay, so and then the second reprint for this month.
Well, hold on a second, Kurtis. Gosh dang it, Kurtis! Hold on a second. Any chance for a West Coast? We've had 3 omnis of West Coast Avengers. Those are out of print right now, though. What is this, Kurtis? No, Kurtis, you've already spoiled it. Go ahead.
That wasn't me. You were like trying to throw things at me at the last second here.
Wow, now you're pointing fingers. All right.
Amazing Spider-Man Epic Collection Volume 2, Great Responsibility. Another one that has been reprinted a few times, but
let me tell you something.
It's Ditko.
This is number 9. This was number 9, and I'm looking at the list, right? And oh my gosh, how in the world did David go, okay, we'll reprint another Spider-Man? Because so far we've gotten Kraven's Last Hunt, Goblin Lives, Ghost of the Past, all in the top 10, Round Robin, and Great Responsibility. Those are all in the top 10. That's how much people fiend for like Spider-Man. And there's some in the.
Plus, we're also getting a Maximum Carnage reprint this year as well.
Yeah, that was number 15. So they are looking at the list and going back. And oh my, and I mean, I will say, it surprises me that they didn't spread out Spider-Man and go, okay, we'll give them 2 reprints. Let's pick something else. No, they're giving us every freaking book you all voted for.
Yep. It's fantastic. This one has been reprinted a couple times, but yeah, like I said, it's the Steve Ditko era. It kind of always needs to be in print. It's just fantastic. It's great stuff.
Kurtis, there's a correction for you, though.
What? Another one?
You can't get snippety with people. They're not going to hit that like button if you do. My buddy Aaron says this goes all the way to 38. It's 18 to 38.
Where did I get that number from? Was that in the email? I think I just copied that from.
You just said you typed this.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I mean, I looked at the email as I was typing it.
Well, let me double check, and I'll send them an email in case it's wrong. But I'll take your word for it. Let's see here.
I'm gonna check too. Check my notes here.
Yeah, they have it to 38, but I'm not saying you made a mistake. You probably copied and pasted the Avengers West Coast Epic.
Yeah, because you're right. It's right underneath it. Avengers West Coast goes to 24.
Okay, but here's the thing, Kurtis. Nobody's keeping count how many times you make a mistake.
Let's move on. We're going to Star Wars Legends Epic Collection, The Empire, Volume 8. This is going to be the last volume of the Empire series for Star Wars. This is it. Collecting Empire. You can correct me if I make any mistakes here. Empire numbers 5 to 6, 8 to 13, and 15, plus X-Wing Rogue Squadron half, which is a lead up to the Star Wars A New Hope Special Edition number 1 to 4, which is a newer version of just a newer adaptation of that movie. Tag and Bink are Dead number 1, and material from Star Wars Tales 1, 6, 8 to 10, 12, 14, 16, and 19. Oh wow!
Fellow Canadian Michael Emmon. Kurtis decided to come on.
I thought we were friends, Michael.
6 mistakes. Michael's a good guy. What's up, Graham? How are you, buddy? Dude, this one makes me happy because they're wrapping up this era of epics of Star Wars. So I don't know about you, but I'm thinking eventually they'll do a modern epic era of Star Wars. Because I mean, we've had crap, man, we've had a lot of Star Wars, like the classic. This is the stuff that was originally published, of course, at Dark Horse. But we've had just about everything over there. And now it's time to get into the modern era and then reprint some of the stuff that people missed out on.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, Shadows of the Empire. What volume was that, Curtis? You have those, right? I gave mine
Yeah,
away. Uh, Air, I can't remember what volume it was, but it has come out.
it was. Where is it? Let me see here.
How do you not have that
I'll find it
memorized,
for you.
Curtis? You only have 1,000 books, dude. Come on. Are the classics Guardians of the Galaxy comics worth the read? They look a bit rubbish. Yeah, they're fun. I didn't Guardians I liked. I really started getting into when Jim Valentino had his Guardians book in the early 90s, and then of course the modern Marvel saga. If you've not read that, it's amazing. New Republic Volume 1 has the epilogue arc. Did you oh, and it has not. I thought it came out. Maybe I was thinking of Dark Empire. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was thinking of Dark Empire. So it's not out. He said it will be in one of the Rebellion volumes. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I thought that maybe we had announced that already. Rebellion, Shadow Stalker.
You have the master list.
Oh, I'm thinking Splinters of the Mind's Eye. No, yeah, it doesn't look like it's in an Epic collection yet.
And you are right, dude. Andrew, those David Norman covers are beautiful.
Yep, beautiful. Definitely. It evokes the old Drew Struzan kind of style of movie poster.
Okay. Let's keep going.
Okay. This one is one that we've already announced, but they've pushed it back to this month, November. So Spider-Man Deadpool Modern Era Epic Collection Volume 1. Isn't it bromantic?
Did we have a cover for this one before?
Yes, we did. Yeah, this was the same cover.
It's the same cover? I didn't remember. Yep. Okay. And
Neon, the only thing
who's keeping tabs is saying only 3 more epics for Star Wars after this.
Yeah, that's right. We're so close to the end. This one collects issues 1 to 14 and 17 to 18 plus 1.mu. And the missing issue 15-16 is part of a crossover story that happens out of continuity. And so they kind of stopped whatever current storyline was going on and they picked it right back up again with issue 17. So I am guessing that maybe they'll put that full crossover because it was crossing over with the other 2 Deadpool titles that were running at the time. Maybe they'll put that in volume 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, it's an epic. They're not going to leave it out. It'll be in volume 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm surprised it was moved here.
Yeah, it was supposed to be one of the modern era launch titles along with Spider-Woman or Spider-Girl, Ghost Spider.
Yeah.
I can never remember.
But I mean,
but yeah.
Honestly, like the Arthur Adams Omnibus also got moved to December. So yeah. I mean, things like that are going to happen. By the way, I do want to thank our moderators for keeping an eye on the chat. You guys are wonderful and you do it for free. So thank you. Thank you. No prize for you. No prizes for you guys. All right. Let's keep going.
Okay.
Yes.
Excalibur Epic Collection Volume 9. You are cordially invited.
That's it, man.
The last volume of Excalibur.
You know how happy it makes me that okay, this era of Excalibur, sure, it's not the greatest era, but it makes me so happy that they added the 4-issue miniseries that took place a few years after the original Excalibur was done. And it also collects X-Men True Friends. I love that story. But yes, this wraps up that era. What's that?
That's Chris Claremont, right?
Yeah.
True Friends?
Yeah, he did a little bit of retconning, but hey, it's Claremont. This is an Alan Davis cover. He doesn't do any internal artwork, but that is the cover to use.
Yeah.
That's it, man. That's the end of an era. Excalibur. Do we have all of Excalibur, Curtis? No, we don't.
No, we don't.
No,
We're
no,
missing a
that's fine.
few of the middle
In between,
volumes.
right?
Like I think the Warren Ellis era is in there. We haven't quite got everything yet.
Do you think we'll get a third Excalibur omnibus, or are they done? Do I think? Sure. Do I know? Maybe. So yes, I'm happy to see this, because it's one I don't know how anybody else is. I think sometimes I'm alone when I want to read everything. How can I appreciate the good stories without going through the bad? I know it's not a sales pitch for this, but it just reminds me, like, there are people that wouldn't read this. They're like, oh, Alan Davis is gone from the book, I'm done. Or Chris Claremont is done from the book, I'm out. So this reminds me of that. I think Terry Cavana actually finished this too. There was Ben Rabb and Terry Cavana's era in this, and it kind of abruptly ended, and then they were like, hey, let's just bring Nightcrawler, Kitty, and Colossus back to the X-Men. Yeah. So yeah. I'm very happy for this.
Wow, there we go. So I think we just have one more to talk about here.
Okay.
Iron Man Epic Collection Volume 6, War of the Supervillains.
This is a huge Iron Man filler.
Yeah, right? Iron Man 68 to 91. Not a gap filler, because we're still missing volumes 7, 8, and 9 or something like that.
That's crazy that Iron Man started the line and he doesn't have as many epics as Thor or, oh my gosh, Spider-Man. But yeah, this was our very first epic collection, and here we are with volume 6. So we don't have a 7 and 8, huh?
Not yet. Yeah, we're still missing that stuff that's leading up to the Michelini era.
Yes, the nose years.
The nose years, yeah. Amazing.
Do I think there'll be an Excalibur Epic Collection Volume 10? It would.
I think maybe the next Excalibur series. Yeah, the next Excalibur series is the one with Magneto, isn't it?
Yeah, that's where it only lasted 12 issues, and then it got rebranded to New Excalibur. I mean, maybe that could be a modern era. Some of those early Iron Man epics were painful to read.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's probably why they slowed down on Iron Man. It's just nice to see him collect it, though, like to have it all finally in one collection. 68 to 91. We got a while to go for this particular character.
Mm-hmm.
He needs a lot more love. Let's see here. As far as some hints for what's coming next, and then we'll go back and do a recap of everything. Actually, no, let's do the recap and then I'll throw some hints for what's coming next. Sorry, I forgot. We still have to do the recap. So, Keish, I assume you did September. Yeah, let's go back there. In case you're just now joining, they added one more book to September, and that's the Loki Modern Era Epic Collection Volume 2. Everything Burns. This is the Kieran Gillen stuff. If you've missed out on the omnibus, if you missed out on the complete collections, this is the way the complete collections are being rebranded, including everything with the correction of Exiled.
Exiled #1. Kurtis mistake #1.
We're not counting that. We're not counting that. And then moving into October, we have a couple of reprints, and this is Volume 2. Mike Murdock Must Die, collecting those issues of Daredevil.
Sorry.
I was trying to go back to see what number it was on the poll. I think I said
it's only like 24, I think.
24, 25. Like 24, 25. Yeah, this Gene Colan on the cover there. Carry on. Good sir. New Mutants, another reprint that's coming out. This is the Bill Sienkiewicz era. And Bill Sienkiewicz on that cover. What's up, Brian? How are you? Capwolf. No Capwolf this time.
We've already had Capwolf in Epic Collections.
Yeah, we have. It was like, I think we need one more Grunwald, don't we?
Yep. Okay, so the Incredible Hulk Epic Collection Volume 8, Curing of Dr. Banner, the Len Wein Sal Buscema years. I think Roger Stern Is it Roger Stern that says on the cover there? I can't remember.
Stern's, I think it's some of his early stuff. And cover artist by Dave Cockrum and Ernie Chan doing the back cover. How often do you guys stream? I always seem to catch them randomly. We do the epic.
They are random.
Once a month or every couple of months. We do the upcoming collected editions for Marvel solicits every month. That's every month. And I stream every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hawkeye. For the person, I hope the person that was asking about Hawkeye is still here.
They'll be very excited to see this, that's for sure. It's all of Solo Avengers numbers 1 through 21. And including, I think, all of the backups, because it doesn't say material from Solo Avengers. So we should be getting the full issues, I think, here.
Let me see.
And then after that, we have... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Omar, did you know that the publisher in Poland has stated doing Epic Collection, or started doing Epic Collections, but in hardcover and oversized? Those aren't Epic Collections. You're getting oversized hardcovers, man. Everything else is the same as the originals, but in Polish. Started with Spidey and Punisher. I'm so jealous.
That's pretty cool.
Jealous. Gotta go. But don't forget that live streams don't show up on the homepage anymore. You have to hit the lives tab on the top. That's right. Thank you, YouTube, for trying to kill channels that aren't making shorts or TikTok videos. Thank you for my wife for reminding us to tell people. Roger Stern's run starts on issue 218, so it's both Stern and Ween. Thank you for that. Moon Knight, baby. The 90s era of Moon Knight.
Yeah, skipping ahead to volume 7, collecting issues 39 to 51 and a bunch of extra special stuff.
Yeah.
And then Omar's favorite here.
Yes.
Modern Ghost Rider.
I'm so excited.
Epic Collection Volume 6. Totally. This is really, really great.
This was a nice surprise. Like when I got this, I'll tell you, when I got so I get the list. This is the way it works. About 3 weeks ago, I got I found the list, and then they start sending me the content and then the art, the cover art. I didn't know until I saw the content that it was gonna be the modern Ghost Rider. I'm like, oh, they're wrapping up Ghost Rider in from the Marvel Masterworks before the Masterworks are wrapped up. That's gonna tick some people off that are collecting Masterworks, but cool. And then when I saw this, I was like, yes! I saw the content. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're not rebranding it. They're actually calling it Epic Collection Volume 6. I love it. Yeah.
This was a big question because these are technically two different characters, two different people, and we were wondering if they were going to exist in the same Epic Collection line. So there you go. They are.
You guys in Poland keep rubbing it in. We have Epic Collections in standard size, but in hardcover. You just keep rubbing it in, man. Make me want to move over there. Y'all have a bunch of hardcovers.
Poland does sound like a nice place to live.
You would have to speak the language, though, because you can't read your comics. They're not in English. You all voted for this. You all voted for each one of these books that are being reprinted. I will just stress that again. And stress the fact to hit that like button. There we go, Curtis. What is this? Curtis!
So did you notice that all of the Epic Collection reprints this month are Volume 2s?
No, I didn't.
Daredevil Volume 2, New Mutants Volume 2, Avengers West Coast Volume 2, and Spider-Man Volume 2, all being reprinted in these 2 months.
No, so, I did not see that.
Yeah, there you go. Very cool. So yeah, you'll get those 2 reprints right there. And then Star Wars Legends Epic Collection, The Empire Volume 8, closing off this series.
Last one. Where is Amazing Spider-Man Volume 16? I don't know, man. Not this batch.
Masterworks. It's in Masterworks right now. Masterworks territory.
This is an Epic stream, not a Masterworks stream.
Spider-Man Deadpool, this one was moved, so we have announced this one previously, but it's now been moved to November. There are a couple of missing issues in here because it was part of a massive crossover that, due to delays in this title, just had to fall in issue number 15 and 16. And even though it was kind of in the middle of another storyline, so they're not printing it here just because story-wise doesn't make sense, but I'm pretty sure it'll be in Volume 2.
Yeah, they'll move it to Volume 2. Omar, any chance of the impending Alpha Flight Epic line with the Omni reprint incoming, as a Canadian, it is mandatory buying. I haven't seen one, but I'm sure that will come, honestly, because just about everything is epic. You know what's hilarious about that? I don't know if he remembers this, but when I had a conversation, whenever Marvel started doing the Conan epics, you remember that, Curtis? They were called the Complete Collection. And your group asked if they could change it to epic format. So I emailed him, and his email reply was hilarious. He was like, well, not everything can be epic. And, and look where we are now. It's crazy. Now we're talking about Ghost Spider Gwen or Spider Gwen epic collection. That is insane where we are now. So
it's pretty cool.
Trouble will be coming to epic format long before Amazing Spider-Man Volume 16.
That's right.
This is the way. So excited for that Alpha Flight. I'm so glad so many of you are. What's the longest series without an epic Spectacular Spider-Man? Well, keep in mind they're moving into the era of Web of Spider-Man in Marvel Masterworks too. They've never had that era. And also keep in mind, we just got our very first Spectacular Spider-Man omnibus in 2022. So I'm sure Spectacular Spider-Man will come. What's the longest running series without an epic?
That might be Spectacular Spider-Man.
Well, they did try Deadly Hand. I was going to say Master Kung Fu, and yeah, that was canceled.
Well, that one wasn't. Yeah,
that was a canceled line.
But it was also only 125 issues or something, right? That one didn't break 200. But
neither did Alpha Flight, right? Alpha Flight.
Right, so that's...
Oh, you're saying, okay.
I'm saying Spectacular Spider-Man broke issue 200, so I think that it might be the longest running.
Oh my gosh, there are two of you with a Conan okay. Oh, there's my buddy Sugar Man. What's going on, dude? How have you been? Yeah. Where's your Punisher? Well, we're getting a reprint. Maybe more. Happy about Empire.
No Punisher still.
Getting really frustrated. We're not filling those gaps. And Spider-Man, Silver Surfer.
That's not true. We are filling gaps. Silver Surfer got a very significant gap filled just last month with Birth of Thanos.
Okay.
Let's
keep
see.
quiet.
And then we are... What is the Silver Surfer situation? Yeah, so Silver Surfer is only published once a year. We got our Silver Surfer for 2023, Birth of Thanos, which actually that's coming out in a couple of weeks. So that's our Silver Surfer for this year.
No, it's not. Because another one's coming in December, but I can't say what it is yet. So there you go. Thank you for sticking around this long. See this when you get the extra little news. But
there you go. Wow.
I just want to make sure that it is coming out, and then we will announce the December and January books together, Curtis and I. This is a lot of fun to do it with him. So yeah, crazy, huh? 2 in 1 year. Back to that.
There we go.
That's all I will say. Yeah.
Okay. Couple more slides on our recap. Excalibur Volume 9. You're cordially invited. Capping off the Excalibur Epic Collections with the final issue, number 125. Actually, we're missing a few volumes still, so
yeah,
we'll get more Excalibur in the future.
You know, if you bought the Omnis, Curtis, and you mixed and match like a madman that I've been trying you to become, yeah. Thanks for not announcing a basic. I don't know if that's sarcasm or not. It's hard to read sarcasm. Speaking of Master Kung Fu's, Volume 3 canceled. It's not in any catalog.
I'm pretty sure it's safe to say it's not coming.
Usually it's lines like Captain America, Thor, Spider-Man, Avengers, and I think X-Men. Don't they try to do 2 X-Men a year?
Yeah, all of the epic lines that have over 20 volumes usually are getting 2 volumes a year. Okay. Doctor Strange has also been getting 2 volumes a year.
That's right. And he's been getting a lot of love. It was sarcasm, but in a friendly way. Okay. It's hard to read it. Omar, please read pre-crisis DC comics. Wow. Okay. I have some. I have and I have tried. I'm not gonna lie. Repeat after me. Amazing Spider-Man 16. Maybe if we say it 3 times, it'll come out. Maybe. What else, Curtis?
The last one we talked about is Iron Man Epic Collection Volume 6, War of the Supervillains. classic 70s Mike Friedrich and George Tuska Iron Man, when
Yes.
Iron Man had a nose on his helmet.
And thank you so much for the super chat there, Nathan. That is so sweet. Curtis, what does that say?
Still no Super Pro
No Super
Epic
Pro. I'm so
collections.
sorry. No Super Pro, not this time around. And that piece right there of Iron Man, I think that's Ron Wilson, who was the big artist on the thing. I love
Right,
his
yeah.
artwork. Yeah. More Iron Man, please. Well, there we go. At this moment, I just want to remind you all, if you live in Europe, to check out Walt's Comic Shop, where they have books like this and they have them up for pre-order. They have flat rate shipping of €12 for all EU countries, and all emails will be answered within 24 hours. They also have a huge line of books that are out of print that you can find through their shop, waltzcomicshop.com, and you can use near mint condition at the checkout for free shipping for all EU countries with your first order of over €40 or more. And that's Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. Ting there, as my wife would say. Now, oh, I have control over this?
Nice, look at that.
What?
So this whole time.
This whole time I could have done this. So here's your quick recap. This is everything that's coming out in October. You have Daredevil Volume 2, New Mutants 2, Incredible Hulk 8, Hawkeye 2, Moon Knight 7, Ghost Rider 6. And November, Avengers West Coast 2, Amazing Spider-Man 2, Star Wars Empire 8, Spider-Man Deadpool 1, Excalibur 9, Iron Man 6. And, of course, September gives us the, what was that?
Loki.
The
Loki
modern. Mm-hmm. Why is X-Men number one the best-selling comic of all time and not Superman number 75? X-Men number one? No. Oh, you're talking about the Jim Lee X-Men. Yes. Why is it? Because it was the 90s.
Sold more copies.
I'll tell you why, because we were all going to get rich buying X-Men.
They made a lot of those.
All of us that bought 5 copies of each cover and the deluxe cover, we were going to get rich, and they made a lot. So the only ones that got rich were the people making it, not us. Spider-Girl. Yeah, I'm sure that will come back as a modern epic. Okay, so we talked about the books that are coming out. We're going to talk about what are the one that we're looking forward to the most, and anybody in the chat. But before I do, I did say I was going to give some hints, and I just gave a heck of a hint about what's coming in December, so I can't even hint about that. What else is coming? We got a couple more reprints that are coming out. And
are they on your list?
And not just one X book, but 2 X books. Yes, they are on the list. So not just one X book, 2 X books are coming out. And those are the only hints I will give.
Can I give a hint?
Sure. What's your hint, Curtis?
We have another new modern era epic collection that is related to Spider-Man.
Yes. And that one was originally supposed to be in September, but it got moved to December. So we can't say a word about that one yet, nor any of the other ones that are coming out. But yes, come back to the channel whenever we do those. All right, Curtis, what's the book you're looking forward to the most here?
Well, I actually think it's going to be Ghost Rider, because haven't. Sorry, stole your thunder. I knew it was going to be yours, but I haven't read this. I never read Ghost Rider in the 90s, and so, and I know it was like one of the most popular books at the time out of all comics, and so I am interested in checking this one out.
It was big, man. I mean, people were just crossing over with Ghost Rider, like X-Men titles were crossing over with Ghost Rider, hoping that the Ghost Rider would help the sales of their titles. Like, it was an interesting era for comics. I mean, yeah, but I was a big fan of this, and this is my number one as well. So whoever's watching, what is your number one book that you're looking forward to from this list? And have you read this era, Curtis, or did you say you had not?
I haven't. No, I haven't. So I am looking forward to diving in.
Yeah, you're in for a treat, man. You're in for a treat as far as Danny Ketch becoming the new Spirit of Vengeance. All right, let's see here. Kurtis has confirmed Spider-Girl. No, he has not. Nobody's confirming anything. Yes, Warren, I know how you feel about X titles. I'm most looking forward to Iron Man 6 and Moon Knight 7.
Good
7,
choices. Yeah, good.
When will DC in January reveal be? Probably. I would say 2 months, but I think we could probably even do it next month in February. I'll double check because I already have the art for half of them and I already have the content. It's just a matter of them adding a couple of maybe 3 or 4 more. I will let you know. We put it on our social media and I'll let Kurtis know to join me. And yes, there's that book that I mentioned that I hinted at. That wasn't even a hint. I was just telling you flat out what it was. On this list, Ghost Rider. Of all the Midnight Suns era books, those were great. Kurtis, This is a question for you.
Oh, yeah, not today. I unfortunately don't have time to do one today, but we'll have to do an after party after the December, January announcements, and we'll talk about all 4 of the months, October to January.
Ghost Rider, Midnight Suns, sorry. Probably Ghost Rider myself. Always wanted to get into it. Danny era always interests me. I'm looking forward to Night Nurse, not even an option. Looking forward to Master Kung Fu Volume 3. Thank you, Joe Cool. Thank you.
So sorry, Joe Cool.
Ghost Rider 6 gives me hope for a Ghost Rider Omni soon. Gives me hope too. Demon Bear Saga reprint. Been asking it from you each stream. Well, I'm so glad we can finally deliver, Jose. Hawkeye 2, Iron Man, and Ghost Rider. Spider-Man, Deadpool is my... Warren, you never cease to surprise me with your picks. I just want to add that. Ghost Rider. Daredevil Volume 2 to complete my collection. West Coast 2 and New Mutants 2. These reprints are so great for those of us just getting into MPix this past year or so. I'm so happy for you all. How's it going, JT, fellow Kentuckian? The Hulk volume is probably the best quality volume. Len Wein rules. Oof. Good. I hope they recreate the pop-up cover in Ghost Rider. Dude, they had so many gimmicky covers. They had the glow-in-the-dark cover and then the pop-up cover. How would you even recreate that? That thing was genius. You open it up and you unfold it, and it's this giant picture. There's my dude, Ghost Rider. What's up, Sugar Man? Yeah, it's definitely Ghost Rider. Man, a lot of people excited for Ghost Rider. Are the X books or X? All I'm saying is X books, baby. That's all I'm saying. Hawkeye 2 takes the cake, along with Modern Loki 2, Hulk 8, West Coast. Somebody really likes Epics. I love it. Need Silver Surfer.
Joke at the end there. You missed the joke at the end.
And Iron Nose Man.
Iron Nose Man. For 6. Sorry, I like that. I was
okay. Kurt.
I just wanted to make sure you
said
it.
That's a good dad joke. It's a good dad joke. Need Surfer reprints. Well, you know how that happens, man. You got to vote on our poll. It ain't up to me to make the reprints happen. It's up to you all. JT said hi, by the way. West Coast 2 is the only volume I'm missing from that run. Definitely need that reprint. Nothing for me. That's cool. I already have too many Omnis to buy. Can't add epics on the list too. Daredevil and Hulk. Why is no one like Night Nurse? No, plenty of people do. There's no epic line for that yet. Looking forward to the deluxe Lone Wolf and Cub. Is this the right stream for that? It is not. That's Riley's stream. Looking forward to carry on reading Hulk with Epic Volume 8. You think Marvel will map Ghost Rider Spirits of Vengeance book? That is a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know how they would map that, because I mean they cross over a lot eventually. Thank God there's no Infinity Omnis. Glad they're out of print since I have the 3 big ones. Ultimate Spider-Man have all. Boom! Good. Yeah, they're the original trilogy. Good evening. How are you? But when will there be more Ghost Rider Omnis? Well, there's only 2 Ghost Rider Omnis right now. The Jason Aaron run that's long out of print, and the Cosmic Ghost Rider. That's all we have right now.
And we don't need any others because we have the Epic collections.
Well, okay, don't do that, Kurtis. What are you doing? If you haven't read the West Coast Avengers, Lost in Space and Time, do yourself a favor. It's pure Englehart gold. I know some people have issues with Al Milgram's art in those. I remember growing up, like people not digging that. Where are the polls to vote on? They are here. What I do in February will be the Omnis. I'll go through a list of out of print books and then leave a link where you can go and vote. So it's a shared link with everybody. You can go and vote up to 5 books. Same thing with the epics, but I think I do that in March. So you go and vote on the 5 epics you want reprinted, and it's a tier. Like your number 1 will have the most points. So we do that every year, and it's a lot of fun. And thank you to the folks that helped me put that together too. We need more love for the Fantastic Four. How many do we have for this year, Kurtis? Did we already announce? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We've got 2 announced already for this year. Is Fantastic Four 19, the end of the Steve Englehart run.
That's right.
And Fantastic Four Volume 9, the Crusader Syndrome, which is 70s Fantastic Four. So we've already got 2 Fantastic Four on the schedule for this year. So that's pretty normal.
Yeah, so that's it.
More love for sure. I would love more love for Fantastic Four.
That's it. Omar, is Avengers Kree Skrull War a good story? Thinking of getting the gallery edition when it comes out. It's got beautiful artwork by Neil Adams and John Buscema. Oh no, Sal Buscema. I'm sorry.
The story is good too.
It is. But don't. Every time I say that and somebody new reads it, they were like, "So these cows shot down the Vision." Okay. Yes, but the story is good. It's a good story, and it's one of those stories that I think everybody needs to read because it's so important to this day what happens.
Mm-hmm. And you have to understand also that Marvel Cosmic wasn't really a thing at the time. This was kind of Marvel's first. I mean, sure, the Fantastic Four went to outer space and stuff like that, but this was kind of the very first Marvel Cosmic event. And yeah, I mean, it suffers because of that, just because of that, and because of the era it's written, and because it's Roy Thomas. But it's still classic. It's still fun.
Oh man, yeah, it's don't expect a masterpiece though, because going into it with an open mind. It's just it was a different time of writing comics, and it was kind of a very first big event that happened in the comics industry.
Yeah.
Man, I love this YouTube. Thank you so much. DT loves Roy Thomas. Roy Thomas is awesome. Man was getting paid by the word. It'll be 2041, and I'll still be waiting for the X-Man, like Nate Gray X-Man. They did
man.
I think they did 2 collections of those, if I'm not, no, 3 if you're including the Warren Ellis, like because they did those.
That series lasted for like 75 issues, though. It's like,
yeah,
there's a lot of material they could
do. Three epics. Oh no, then there were crossovers and things. James is asking the real question: can we have a poll to see how many people want an Alpha Omnibus or an Alpha Epic? No. No.
Why not?
Kurtis can have it on his channel. Sorry, I'm late. Any news about what is happening? James, are you creating like 35 accounts and asking for the Alpha Epics? The art is awesome, but he doesn't draw everything. Oh my gosh, whenever they lay up Vision on the table and their dice, oh, that is one of my favorite like pieces of art. So good.
Yeah.
Remember when Reed Richards lost all the Fantastic Four's funding on bad stock trading? Good.
Yes.
Good times. So yes, to answer this question, so we do have, usually there are 2 epics released for classic lines like that: Fantastic Four, Avengers, Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, Spider-Man, and X-Men. I think those are the main ones, right, Kurtis? You may have mentioned another one. Hulk also gets 2, and Daredevil, and Doctor Strange. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot more, because remember, this whole line started with 4 books. And at that time, they were like, we're going to focus on these 4 books, and then we'll think about expanding. Look at Kurtis's background. They definitely expanded.
They did.
I would prefer and Elf Gallery edition. No, we're not doing that. Can we do a poll for most wanted new epic line? We have a Spider-Man, Ant-Man, other. I've tried to. Oh, I'm sorry. I have asked about those, and in the past, like, you know, they have their own ideas, and just, I don't know if they'd humor it, but I mean, I can try to ask again, and then we can. I don't even know how you would make a poll like that, because there's so many titles. Let me think about that one. That will take some work. doing out of
The other thing about that,
go ahead, Curtis.
all of it seems like all of Marvel's um when they release new lines, it's based on other events that are happening in modern Marvel comics or what's happening in the movies, that kind of thing. So that is, it's not as reader voted or reader dependent, I think, as the reprints, which like literally they can do whatever reprint they want at any time. That's different than launching new titles. So I think they're a little bit more pickier about launching new titles.
Gotcha. Okay. But they are taking some chances and they're trying out new things like the modern epic line. You know, Bronze Age.
Even
yeah, I guess we could, but then we'd also have to see what is even available too, because some things are licensed. So you couldn't ask for like Transformers or like, I know that's not Bronze, but for example, like Micronauts or ROM, because those licenses belong to someone else. What are the chances of Ren and Stimpy or Simpsons? Simpsons has a very good chance, honestly, because that is owned by them.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm surprised we haven't had like an omnibus of that yet, because they have so much of that Bongo era. I'd imagine
Simpsons Epic Collections.
Okay, stay in your lane, Curtis. We're talking about omnis right now.
That is my lane.
We're talking about omnis. All right. I'd imagine that once Black Knight starts showing up in the MCU, that's when a Black Knight epic line could possibly be released. I'd be all over that. Mm-hmm. That classic artwork, man, it's so good. And I like an original Black Knight and Dane. I would love that.
For sure. Yeah.
It wouldn't make sense, unfortunately. That was a pretty freaking cool book. I mean, it could be a one and done, right? We did Kill Raven. Why can't F-Man get some love? Kill Raven got one epic, one and done. That's all we need. But seriously, though, why are they not doing Amazing Spider-Man 16? I will tell you this much. No matter how many times we do this, Travis, no matter how many times Curtis and I do this, every year, we used to do this twice, 3, 4 times a year, I think. But then distribution's changing, so they need books up. So we're doing this now. It's always something like, why can't they do this?
Yeah.
Why can't we? Why can't they give us Amazing Spider? It used to be what, 6, I think, was the one that everybody wanted. And then when we finally announced it, immediately after we announced it, people were like, yeah, that's great and all, but where's Amazing Spider-Man 16? And it always feels like that with every one of these announcements. Like, people always look forward to something new, which is great. I don't know. What would 16 be? That would be the gap filler between Kraven's Hunt and
Venom? And no, not Venom.
What was the assassination plot was after Venom. I don't even have. Oh, I have got mine in Omni format. I gave those away.
There was Ghosts of the Past. Ghosts of the Past is volume 15. Kraven's Last Hunt is volume 17. Both of those are being reprinted this year.
Yeah, this is that. That was it. It was 16 and 26, and we finally. I remember announcing 6, and then people were like, "Where's 26? We're never gonna get it." And then 26, and now it's 16. Maybe they know how bad people want it. But yeah, that's Amazing Spider-Man 16 is the Uncanny 5 of epics. It might be. New Warriors would be my pick for new. Me too. Oh, Jose, you're a cool guy. For the new epic line, but Spectacular would be a clear one. Oh yeah, Spectacular. I'm sure we'll get a Spectacular before we get. Well, I don't know, New Warriors, because Spectacular's already been cleaned up in the Masterworks, and we've got an omnibus. So,
if my guess is that
go ahead.
My guess is that they are waiting for some of these long-running lines to be completed. Like there's lines like Thor and Captain America and stuff. They're only like 4 volumes left to go. And so if they are thinking about the longevity of the epic lines, they probably want some really long series like Spectacular Spider-Man, like Alpha Flight, so that they have stuff to replace these ones that are finishing off.
Oh man, it's this is a funny question right here. If Thor by Jason Aaron Omnibus Volume 2 gets announced, what do you think people will ask you for next? There are certain omnis that people ask me about all the time, and I love doing that after announcing it. I'm like, okay, now what are you guys going to ask me for? And then I immediately think of one. I'm like, oh, of course it's going to be this. because there's so many different people won. Modern Ghost. Yes, Peter. That's what we call him. How's it going, my brother? I'm so glad you're here, man. Well, modern for us old. Okay, we ain't got to throw us all under the bus together, Peter. You could have just avoided that last part. X-Men number 9 is the one that I want more.
Would you call Ben Reilly the modern Spider-Man?
What would be X-Men Volume 9? Could it be the Brood Saga? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, I think so. That would come next. I think
so. Amazing Spider-Man, Daredevil, Frank Miller. Here, let's go ahead and remove the slide, and then we can see us, and we can talk to our people, and then I gotta go. Is the Essential Ghost Rider Volume 3 I've been reading is not modern. The Essential Ghost Rider, it's not modern. Dazzler, there's another line people want.
Yeah.
The other one, we call him Ghost Driver. Nice, Tara. I was hoping that we would have gotten an Omni first. Manny, me too. But it's a start. I'm just glad that we're getting it. Has Punisher Warzone been collected anywhere or Punisher Magazine? Not in omnibus format, but Warzone, I think, did get a trade paperback. Wasn't it a fat trade, Kurtis?
The John Romita War Journal got a fat trade of the first dozen issues or so.
Mm-hmm.
Punisher Warzone, I don't think, other than a couple of odd issues in like Suicide Run and I don't know, Punisher.
Yeah, I don't think that one did either.
Punisher in Vietnam, I think that one. I don't know. It hasn't been comprehensively collected, no.
Okay. Thank you, Jeff Sutter, for the super chat. Cross-gen Epic Collections now. Got to make sure that cross-gen book sells first. Peter David.
There is so much. Yeah, I can't believe how much Marvel actually owns that they could put into collections like cross-gen. Like you just mentioned, Simpsons, like Predator, all of this stuff.
Right. I mean, Indiana Jones.
Huge catalog.
But Indiana Jones is a little bit different because Indiana Jones is another one that's it's them, but it's also Lucas art, right? Like I think
there's a joint custody there.
Yeah. So that would be one that they would have to get things approved. I'm not even sure how that would even work. Peter David Hulk also seems to be the one they're holding on tight to. They haven't wrapped up his run, right? And I think a lot of that has to do because of the releases of the Omnis. So I'm sure those will come. Got my Journey to Mystery Complete Collection signed by Gillen, so I'll be sticking with those. That's a good idea. Or rip out the page that he signed and glue it to your Epic collection. No, don't do that. That was a joke. Don't do that. I'll buy anything Dazzler anytime, any place. Yes, you would. Where is Rebel by Design? That's who she is. X-Men 9 is good, but I want X-Men 11, 1 through 77. So that's post the From the Ashes, Kitty and Wolverine, almost unreprinted in color paperback. Well, Kitty and Wolverine has had a collection, but that stuff 177 to 188 has not. It's like John Romita Jr. taking over the book. Captain America 16 and 17 are my white wells. Oh, that is a good idea. Oh, I like this one too. And technically, Josh is right. They could do Duck Comics and Mickey Mouse Comics if they wanted to. Like, can you imagine a Masterworks of like Carl Barks library editions? I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
I would be all over those.
The way Disney Comics works with their licenses is so bizarre. They farm out different properties to different companies, and because they don't want any one company to do everything. It's so strange.
Well, it's one of the things I think they can do. It's just that they probably may not even have the manpower to do something like that. It definitely is a love project, right? The NAM Epic Collection. I like that. New Universe, Malibu Epics. See, you guys remember those.
Yeah.
Dude, I hope we agree on something, Warren. Yes, me too. Scion was my jam, dude. I love Scion. Ron Mars and Jim Chung. How far do you think X-Men Epics or Omnis will go before it cuts off into the Epics before it cuts off into the modern Epic line? I think they'll go past Onslaught because X-Men didn't have like an end point, right? We've talked about this and hypothesized about this on the channel before, but X-Men didn't have the, hey, we're getting sucked into the Heroes Reborn universe. See you in
Yeah.
a year, Marvel. No, they never had that. So there was never a breakaway point. They continued. So Wolverine, for example, was another title. That was, I think, you see, my brain serves me right. Kurtis, that was the first title that passed the Onslaught timeline. And
That's
that
right.
was the first one that opened our eyes to, oh, they're going past Onslaught. Because we thought, for some reason in our heads, I think, that Onslaught was the cutoff point for epics. But with titles like Wolverine that never got canceled because of Onslaught, it continued on. So I don't know if I answered your question. I don't. The cutoff point, maybe the 600th issue. You're looking at Avengers X-Men. That's a long time.
That is a long time.
But I was just thinking, like, when Bendis took over the book. No, he did issue 600, 500, 500th issue. Final answer.
500 was that the Chuck Austin era? Was around 500, I think.
No, it was the Matt Fraction era.
Oh, I'm thinking of 400. Am I thinking of 400 then?
Yeah, Chuck
One
Austin.
of the milestone was Chuck Austin.
Chuck Austin was. No, he didn't do 400. Wasn't it Casey? I think
It was somewhere around there,
Joe
though,
Casey,
right?
and then eventually he took over the book. Yeah,
Okay.
but he didn't do that one. Uncle Scrooge Omnibus. Oh my gosh! Shut up now, James. Don't. That's too exciting. Every year I have to resist. Even harder trying to piece together all of Malibu from eBay. And there was a lot. Everybody forgets it. Like, people are like, "Oh, the Phoenix. She returned in X-Men versus Avengers." She was in the Malibu story.
That's right.
The Phoenix Resurrection. Brian Hitch, I think, did that one. Donald Duck epics. Yes. Are we up to 300 epic collections? Kurtis, you and Philip keep up with that. How many do we have?
Yeah, we're almost there. In fact, let me just see here. Fantastic Four, Volume 19, The Dream is Dead, which is coming out in March, will be epic number 300. Yeah. So the stuff that we're announcing today is probably more like epics numbers 330 to 340 or something like that.
Chuck Austin took over after Grant Morrison. No, Chuck Austin took over their run on New X-Men when it was retitled to X-Men, but he was already writing Uncanny X-Men because then Claremont came over to oh gosh. They played musical chairs. Claremont left Extreme X-Men, came back to Uncanny X-Men, and then Chuck Austin went over to Adjectiveless X-Men before Peter Milligan took over the book. But Kurtis was thinking of who wrote 400. And I think that was, like the joke. Where is Peter? Peter, are you still in the chat? Who wrote 400? Was it Joe Casey? I think it was one of those guys. Did Daredevil by Brubaker Volume 2 make the top 20? And I don't think it did, but I sent them the top 25. I want to be buried with my epics. That's love. Do you have that on your? You have a living will?
They just have entomb this. I'll have a sarcophagus, and they can put this in a giant tomb.
Oh, so okay. To go back to the question, was I right? Was I imagining that? Was Wolverine the very first epic that went further?
Mm-hmm. No, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Omar booted up his cerebro brain. Cerebro. Thank you. Okay, so it was Casey. Okay, 400. And yes, Peter does. Peter is my cerebro. If I'm Professor X, no, I'm Jean Grey. No, I'm Emma. Never mind. Don't forget I said that. Scrap that. Forget it. I'm so glad you're here. Kurtis, you should be here on the stream. It would make sense to start a modern, at the time the new X-Men started.
I think so too. I think that's the obvious reboot.
That's a good answer.
Yep.
I like that. It's definitely a clean break, right? It's like Morrison did their own thing, and it's definitely a clean break in Adjectiveless X-Men. For Uncanny, not so much so. They were introducing aspects of like second mutation and things like that.
Well, but even like the style of writing at that point feels modern. And if you think of just the stuff that came just before that with X-Men Apocalypse the 12, like that still felt like, the late 90s, early 2000s X-Men. Um, so I think there is definitely a different shift in the way they were making comics at that point for X-Men. So I think
Yeah.
that would be a great place to start modern.
And
However, I don't think I don't think you'd have all of the lines combined at that point.
not at that point, because Morrison was doing their own thing. Claremont
Yeah,
was doing his own thing with Extreme
they
X-Men.
were so different.
And even the editors at the time, I don't think were talking to each other too. Like,
Mhm.
not because they were upset with each other or anything. It's just because they were kind of doing their own thing. And I think that's the
Yeah.
way Joe Quesada liked it. Anyone recommend good manga to start with? Yes. Dragon Ball Z, or Dragon Ball if you like humor. One Piece. Berserk if you can handle mature content. My Hero Academia if you like American comics. It's like it's an American comic. It's like superheroes, and it sells really well. Vinland Saga, Vagabond, just some of the ones. You want to go classic? Go with Astro Boy. I love that stuff. Kurtis, manga to recommend.
Well, man, it really depends on what you like, what style of storytelling you like, because there's literally every kind of genre in manga. Yeah, Astro Boy stuff from Tezuka is my favorite. He does a bunch of anthology stories.
Yeah,
Blackjack is awesome. Um,
Blackjack's my
I
favorite thing he did.
I love Lone Wolf and Cub. I love the stuff from Takahashi, like Ranma
Yeah,
and that kind of stuff. So there's tons of
Takahashi's
great stuff
Rama
out there.
is, and she did some horror too, like Mermaid
Like the
Scar,
Mermaid's
Mermaid
Scar,
Saga.
yeah, that's good stuff.
She's a wonderful mangaka. Uh, I could be wrong, but I think the two most wanted omnis now would be Thor by Aaron, Volume 2, and Amazing Spider-Man by Bagley. What do you think, Omar? Well, as the guy that gets all the messages as to what people want, I can say Thor Volume 2 is definitely the most wanted, for sure. The second most wanted, I'm trying to think of what people, because everybody wants something different, and it's insane. And people it's almost like they take it personal when I don't announce what they want. How dare you? How dare you tease me saying this is a big one? Well, because it is for a lot of people. Maybe not you, but for a lot of people. I'm sure it's something X-Men related. And even though I just announced five's not even out. I'm sure it's something X-Men related. I want to say New Mutants 3 is up there. I've seen that a lot. For Spider-Man, I do want to say that Volume 6, I get a little more than Michelinie and Bagley Omni. That's the God honest truth. That's what I see from my perspective. Question: can they ever begin an epic line that is post 2000 era for Marvel? New X-Men, Mega Ray Moore. That's what we were talking about. That is the new epic or the modern epic. Thunderbolts, is it still labeled epic? Right? It's not
Yep.
modern.
It's
epic,
not modern.
correct?
No, it's classic.
Okay. Remember when I said X-Men, we get Omar talking? I was right. Yeah, you talk about X-Men, I'm going to not stop talking. So it got me into reading X-Men when I started collecting. I love that. Would you break Spider-Man after Clone Saga? I think you rebrand Clone Saga, right? That's how you bring those back as the modern epic collections, which is weird because we still have that, like, really, man, I'm almost willing to say that you leave those as epics and then you start the Howard Mackie, John Byrne era as your modern epic run.
Yeah, and so the same thing I was talking about with X-Men applies to Spider-Man. When Straczynski took over Spider-Man, there was a huge shift just in the way comic storytelling was told. Even before that, with the Mackie Byrne era, like that stuff still felt classic 90s. But as soon as JMS took over, it was a completely different feel. So I would start modern Spider-Man at JMS.
And it's such a weird like starting point because it's like issue 30, what, 30 or 31, I think.
Yep.
Right, as a complete, I'd be like, wait a minute, if this is volume 1, where are the other 29 issues? What's going on there? They made a mistake.
Yeah, I
I know,
mean,
but I know what you're saying though.
there's a bunch of there's a bunch of Loki stuff that happens before these modern Loki epic collections are happening. Like there's a Loki 4-issue miniseries that happens almost right before he turns into a kid, and there's the Loki as a woman era and all of that kind of stuff. That's all considered modern, but they're not. I would consider it modern at least, but they're not putting it in the Loki modern era stuff. We could get classic Loki epic collections that go up to like 2006
Yeah.
or something
I
like
have
that.
to say how jealous I am of that department. It gets to make like these decisions, and you know,
Yeah.
everybody has their own idea too, so I'm sure there's a lot of like, no, we're doing it this way, and in your head you're like, no, that's not the way it works, because in my head I've always planned it this way. So I'm sure there's a lot of that. By the way, whoever was asking about manga, there's a lot of really good suggestions in the chat.
Yeah, 20th Century Boys is fantastic.
Oh yeah, anything that Urasawa does is great. My personal favorite, Pluto, because I'm a fan of Astro Boy, though. I love that stuff. My goal is to get into One Piece, over 100 volumes, man. First time that's happened in America. Dark Hawk, Epic Collection Volume 1, Deathlock, and then I like that.
Yeah.
Yes, my daughters like Jujutsu Kaisen, and my oldest loves Chainsaw Man and Dodo Hidodo, I think is what she's reading. I would love an 80s Punisher on those. Matt, you got my message? I'm wrapping up. We all made up so many rules about where epics would cut off. Not past Onslaught, not Clone Saga. In hindsight, those books were reprinted in full round when the epics started and needed a cool down. That is 100% true.
Yep.
Not enough oversized hardcover manga. Omar, how much power do you think I have? It's very limited. I don't even have power around my house hardly. My daughters just ruled this household. As a longtime Marvel fan, I would love to see Quesada take over as editor-in-chief of modern. Oh, you mean when he took over as editor-in-chief? That's what started the Marvel Knights era, right? Like when they were rebranding and Dead is Dead, and they set a whole new rules since you switched the focus to story arcs and not soap operas. I mean, really,
I think a lot of
without that,
you totally.
No, I was going to say, without that, we wouldn't have what we have now, the writing for trade mentality, which a lot of writers had a hard time adapting to. But without that mentality, we wouldn't. Just look at the back, our shelves, right? Like, it's insane. Kurtis, I interrupted. What did you say?
No, I was gonna just agree with you. It's definitely that's where the shift is for sure, and not every title has that shift at the same time.
No, but you're right. That's a good one. At this moment, I just want to remind everybody to check out cheapgraphicnovels.com. They do have books up to 50% off. Tell them your mint condition sent you their way for a free discount code on your first order of $50 or more, and that is cheapgraphicnovels.com. Omar, if you could read only one, what would it be? One Piece of Berserk. I love that book, man. There's only 6 more epics missing before we have every Spider-Man leading up to the clone. That is insane. That ever make you feel old? Like when you go back and you're so excited about the first epic, and then you go back and you're like, oh, it's been 11 years.
Yeah, holy cow.
It's been 11 years. Got to get Omni Collect. That's right, my buddy Riley on the game. When you want American manga influence, he's a big old TikTok influencer now. Berserk, definitely, yes. I think there's a happy medium. Soap opera writing, aka long form writing, can be harder for new readers, but writing and trades shortchange a lot of storytelling. I think they've kind of mastered, not mastered, but they've kind of gotten used to that. Because I think of like Nick Spencer's run, for example, like on Spider-Man, he really was writing the long game. And it's cut up into 6-issue arcs, though. But there's an overall arc for the entirety of his run. And I thought that's what I kind of want to see more and more of writers do. We'll take a couple more questions, then I do have to get going because I got a meeting. With one of my one-on-ones on Patreon. Kurtis and Omar, has there ever been an epic of Frank Miller's awesome run on Daredevil?
Not yet.
Yeah, there's some classics that they're waiting on, right? Like Daredevil by Miller, Walter Simonson's Thor, Fantastic Four by John Byrne. How many Byrne's issues are none, right?
None. We haven't had any, but we're getting to the point where they will be forced to release those ones because there will literally be no other ones to do unless they extend the line on the other end.
I'll take one more question, and then we do have to wrap up. I think they'll reprint Power Rangers Deluxe Editions Year One. I'm surprised they haven't because, well, we have the box set. How did they not print more? I think
Is that the one they kickstarted? Did they kickstarted?
They kickstarted the box set of those. Yeah. Hey Omar, how many omnibuses would it take to close the gap between Brand New Day Volume 1 and Nick Spencer's? How long do you think it would take? Oh gosh. Okay. I saved the best question for last, and of course this is the hardest one. Let's see, we're getting a Superior Spider-Man. So if you take that out of the equation, you have Brand New Day 2 is what you would need. Big Time, which is the Dan Slott era. My goodness. 5? I want to say 5, not including Superior. If Aaron is still watching, he would know more than I do.
Spider-Verse is Spider-Verse on Omni already?
It is, but they could keep the Amazing Spider-Man stuff in there and still leave Spider-Verse out, or Spider-Verse and Amazing Spider-Man, and keep out all the tie-ins.
And Worldwide, was that after that?
Yeah. So it was like the Tony Stark era.
Right.
Yeah, so I want to say 5 plus Superior. And I'm sorry, 6 plus Superior, because Brand New Day needs a second volume to wrap up that era. Yeah. And at this moment, I just want to thank my buddy Kurtis for joining us. I want to thank David Gabriel and everybody at Marvel for sending us this advanced notice, this exclusive breaking news that you get here. It's really cool to put together with Kurtis. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to do this, dude.
Of course. My pleasure. I enjoy it every single time.
Me too, man. It's a blast. Even though you made like 6 mistakes, but nobody was counting. Where can I'm kidding. Where can people find you, my brother, when you're not hanging out with me?
Well, go to epicmarvelpodcast.com and listen to my podcast episodes about Marvel Comics. You can also find me. I have a Facebook group specifically about Epic Collections. If you search for Epic Collections on Facebook, and I'm also on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and all of that kind of stuff. All those places talking about comic stuff.
Okay, and you can find me here at Near Mint Condition, where I'm back every day. Tomorrow I'll be talking about my most wanted or anticipated Marvel Omnis. Tonight I will be interviewing a comic creator tonight, and I just want to make sure that everything is still okay with that. I need to create the event. Okay, we're good. Paula Lord, that's at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a live show if you want to come back and watch that. But that's it, everybody. Stay healthy and safe out there. Much love. Hit that like button on the way out.